What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here today in Mansker Farms in Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're going to be taking a walkthrough of this Meritage Homes Coleman floor plan. This is their new model home here. It is a 5-bed, 3-bath property, and it comes in at 2778 square feet. Now, Meritage Homes is new to this area. However, Mansker Farms has been around for some time now. It also has an established HOA. You've got 2 clubhouses and pools. This is a really great area, highly desirable even outside of the new construction, which they are doing quite a lot of here. You can see this screenshot that I have set up with what they're planning to do here at Mansker. But on that note, my name is Darren A. Wilson. I'm a realtor here in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. Let's go ahead and take a walkthrough of this Coleman floor plan by Meritage Homes right here at Mansker Farms in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let's go.
Okay, so here we are out in front of the model home, and there are 3 different possible elevations for this Coleman floor plan. This one that you're looking at right here is elevation P. Now, one thing to note about Meritage in general is that they actually do not do to-be-built homes. They only have quick move-in. So basically what that means for you is that there's not really going to be any customization that you can do. There will be variations on the homes that you will see based upon the elevation, and also sometimes they're going to be mirrored, right? So they will basically just be completely flipped around, where you have the garage on the opposite side and everything's kind of on the opposite of what you're going to see in this one here. But also they have 5 different floor plans total that they're doing currently here. Sometimes that changes over time. So there's going to be a lot of variety, but once again, you can't have something built from scratch by Meritage. They only do quick move-ins. Basically, what their value proposition is to their customers is that they try to compete against resale homes, in the sense that all their homes come with washer, dryer, refrigerator, which is not the case necessarily with most new construction homes, but that is just something kind of to be aware of. Now, this front room right here, they're using it obviously as their office. It's funny because with most model homes, they actually tend to make the garage the office, and they sort of convert it later on when they're ready to sell it, but they've chosen to make that front room their office right there. That could also potentially act as a library. You do have those double doors that we saw a second ago, or even a dining room if you wanted. Different things that you can do with that room right there. Do have that storage space, which you're also going to have your smart home features, sort of the Wi-Fi and whatnot will hook up to that section right here. And here we are walking into really the meat of the home right here, with the open concept kitchen, dining, and living room. I really like the lighting choices that they made in this home in particular. Very beautiful. They did a great job, and everything that you see, as far as if it's stuck to the home, or if it's a refrigerator, washer, dryer, like we said earlier, does actually come with the home. Now, these furnishings will not. If you end up buying the model home later on, that is something that you can usually do. It's just going to kind of depend. But just kind of keep in mind, this is they did a good job of showing how you can utilize this space here, and this kitchen island also does have that space there where you can put in those bar stool seats as well. Now, this home comes equipped with Whirlpool appliances, and you'll also find that they are all Energy Star certified, which is great for saving on your energy costs every month. Very important. Those numbers can get high sometimes, right? But that does help with that. And I should also mention that this home, this Coleman floor plan, and what they're doing right now at Mansker is part of their Bronze Series. Okay, so according to the agent there, the Bronze Series and what they're going to be doing next, which is called the Legacy Series, are pretty much going to be the same floor plans and everything. Maybe that will change. We will see. But basically, the difference is going to be that the Legacy Series are going to have smaller lots. Okay, for the most part. I would not be surprised if they ended up doing different floor plans as well, but that's a little bit ways down the road, so we'll kind of see what ends up happening here for Meritage here at Mansker. It's not uncommon for a builder to sort of start off with one thing and then end up doing something else later on when it comes to how many floor plans they have, or just sort of how they're going to organize things and whatnot. It's pretty frequent for them in a year or 2 or 3 to change things around based upon the way things have gone so far, how things are selling, how people are reacting to the different floor plans and whatnot. So just kind of keep that in mind. These things are always in flux. They change, and you got to kind of be aware of that. That's also going to be something that's going to be in your contract. Not too long ago, there's a builder who will remain nameless, who bought a bunch of lots, and this is a really nice high-end builder, and they sold a few homes, and they ended up not being able to sell the rest of the lots, so they ended up selling the lots to another builder who, I think most people would say is really not of the same caliber as this other builder. And what ended up happening was, those homeowners were not very pleased about the fact that, that happened, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen here. I actually don't really think that will at all. But it is the type of thing that a builder will protect themselves, with in a contract. Those builder contracts looks a lot different than your sort of regular purchase and sale contracts. So just kind of keep that in mind. I do always recommend having someone to represent you in front of the builders. That's a big part of what I do with my business. So if that is something that you think could help, let's have a no obligation conversation about what that might look like, and I can kind of guide you through what that process, buying a new home with new construction, will look like. You can contact me down below if you'd like to do that. Now, as we are outside of the home here, let's just start to talk a little bit about Mansker itself. So Mansker is, again, we talked about earlier, really great neighborhood. It's been around for some time, and this is a whole new section of Mansker here that Meritage is building. Some of the amenities that you have is there's pools, there are tennis courts, underground utilities, clean sidewalks, there's clubhouses. So a lot of really great amenities here available. You're going to be looking at an HOA fee of $54 a month, okay, which is not bad. And I should also mention that the schools here are zoned for Madison Creek Elementary, T.W. Hunter Middle School, and then Beach High School as well. Now, as I always mention, since you are here in Sumner County, your kids do have the ability to apply for Merrill Hyde Magnet School, which is one of the highest rated schools in all of the state of Tennessee, especially when it comes to test scores and the student to teacher ratio. It's a K through 12, and that is available to everybody who lives in Sumner County. Fortunately, it's located right here in Hendersonville, so a lot closer than for those people who are driving out from Portland. Now, on the other hand, you do have several different private schools. You have John Paul II, which is an 8 through 12, and you also have Hendersonville Christian Academy. There's a number of resources as well for those of you who are using homeschooling and whatnot available here in Hendersonville. So whatever sort of route you're going with the schools, there are a number of different options that you have here. As you can see right here, this is where you locate those smart home features, which are really throughout the house. So you can sort of turn off the light in your kids' room if you'd like from your phone, which is a nice option to be able to have, or you can do it from that little pad that you have on the wall right over there as well. Now, here we are entering into the 2-car garage. You do have your fuse box out there, and you'll notice that it is unfinished. So these do come unfinished. And most of the time when I go into these model homes, you don't even get to see the actual garage because that's where they have their offices. But they actually decided to do this one a little bit differently. So you can actually see what the garage looks like. Not a ton of storage space outside of, where you're putting the cars. So, do kind of keep that in mind if you are somebody who has, whether it's a lawnmower or whatever it may be that needs storage. Might be a little bit of a tight squeeze in there, but just kind of keep that in mind. Now downstairs here we have one of the bedrooms that you see. That front room that we saw that's kind of an office, you could maybe turn that into a bedroom as well if you would like. I think that's kind of how they are classifying that actually. You do have 3 more bedrooms located upstairs. And this could be a great guest bed, or, if you do have a loved one, maybe it's a mom or dad or aunt or uncle who's wanting to stay at the home, this would be a great spot for them, whether it was on a permanent or semi-permanent basis, or even just a visit once in a while. This is the perfect spot for somebody like that, especially since it's right here on the first floor. Don't have to go up and down the stairs. Now, conveniently, you also have a full bath, which we are going to take a look at right here, just around the corner, right inside this mudroom area that we have right here. And so, once again, if you do have somebody who is sort of on a semi-permanent basis going to be in this home, or even just, if it's going to be a guest bed, this is the perfect spot to service that. No powder room per se on the first floor, just this bathroom right here. So this would probably kind of act as your powder room probably most of the time. So just as far as how you utilize this space and all that, that's probably a great way to do it. Upstairs, you are going to have the remaining bedrooms. You will see that, including the primary, as well as 2 more bathrooms, full baths. So if you're somebody who needs to have that primary bedroom on the first floor, the Coleman is not going to be the plan for you. There's other options, but just kind of keep that in mind if that's something that you need. This is not going to be the one for you. But if you are all going to be sort of hanging out upstairs, and that area right there is just going to remain a guest bed, this might be perfect. Some people prefer to be closer to the kids. Some people want to be away from them. So it just kind of depends on what you prefer and what works best for you and your family. Now, as we head upstairs here, I wanted to tell you a little bit. We're gonna see the primary bedroom in just a minute here, but also once we get into the bath and the walk-in closet in that room, one thing that's really important for people in a home of this size is that they have a decent amount of storage space. And as you saw, you don't really have a ton in the garage. However, there is some available. Again, that's kind of be later on in the video that you will see that is up there in that walk-in closet for the primary bed and bath. But here we have this nice little loft area which is available. This is a great little spot to have as kind of like a secondary living room, or if this is where the kids want to watch their shows and you watch yours downstairs, however you want to organize it, that is a nice spot for that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the location of Mansker Farms. If you're not familiar, this is about roughly maybe 8 to 10 minutes away from the Glenbrook Center. Okay, and over in the Glenbrook Center, you have Kroger, you have Target, you have several different restaurants, PetSmart, Staples, a new Best Buy, ironically enough, which I've said this in other videos. I didn't know that they were still building new Best Buys, but they built a new one in Hendersonville, and it's about 10 minutes away from you here at Mansker. You also have a Costco right over there, so if you're a Costco family, that's a great resource to have. And alternatively, you're also not too far away from like the Goodlettsville and Madison area. So we have a Sprouts over in Madison, as well as, there's another Target over there. Bunch of different retail and restaurants, all very close. Starbucks over at the Glenbrook Center, Chick-fil-A, Puckett's, a local favorite. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that is not too far away from where you're at. There's also a BJ's Wholesale over in Madison now as well. So lots of different options when it comes to that, all of which is probably about somewhere between 8 to 10 minutes away, so not far at all. Furthermore, you're just about a few minutes more away from the Indian Lake Center, where you have even more retail. You have a movie theater, you have the streets of Indian Lake, several different restaurants and whatnot over there. So there's really quite a lot around you. If you're in Hendersonville, you're not too far from stuff, right? Now, in order to get to downtown Nashville, you're looking at probably somewhere between a 20-minute drive if there's no traffic. If it is a rush hour, maybe 30 or 40 minutes. Just going to kind of depend. It tends to be that getting home is always harder than getting there, I've found. But just kind of keep that in mind as far as traffic times and whatnot. It's going to be sort of similar, probably a little bit longer in order to get to the airport. Okay, that's the one thing about Hendersonville. You are sort of, with Mansker Farms, you're in sort of like the eastern part of Hendersonville. The western part of Hendersonville. So this is to your advantage if you're trying to get to, the Nashville area. But you do have to sort of go around a bunch of stuff in order to get over there. As somebody who lives on one of the peninsulas, which is a different area than here at Mansker, it's a long trip to get to the other side of the lake, Old Hickory Lake, which you are also very close to. But if you're trying to get to Mount Juliet, Old Hickory, it does take a little while because you have to go around. But If you are a lake person, you're not too far from the Cumberland and the same lake access that the rest of us have over here, which is a really nice thing to be able to be near. There's lots of spots for fishing. There's spots if you have a boat, to get on the water, several different marinas and lake access points as well. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about purchasing a new home from a builder as opposed to purchasing a resale home. Okay, now, a lot of people, what they do is they go straight to the builder, and they sort of work out their contract, and they work out what kind of home they want, which lot they want, and whatnot. And next thing they know, they're under contract to purchase a home, and that's certainly something that you can do. However, I do really stress that if you are going to buy a new construction home, or if you're just going to buy a home in general, please have some representation, and especially work with somebody who has been through the process before. And the reason why that's so important is because, especially with new construction, I mean any home in general, but especially with new construction, there's just so many things to be on the lookout for. A lot of which most people haven't really encountered before. This is things like, just to name a few, things like what's going on with the lot when it comes to easements. You're going to be dealing with a builder contract. I've seen builder contracts that were 150 pages long, okay, as opposed to a normal resale contract, which is 11 pages. It's quite different, and it's going to be very particular to each builder. Those contingency periods throughout the life of the contract are going to look different than they are going to be in a regular purchase and sale contract. Okay, it's going to advantage the builder. Okay, and you need to know that going into this whole thing. A lot of people think that real estate agents, especially buyer agents, that we just kind of open doors, right? And we just take people to look at this or look at that. And that is like one small part of what we do. It's the fun part. It's the part that gets glamorized. It's the part that, when you think of a real estate agent, that's what you think of, right? But really sort of the hidden power of what we do as agents is from the contract to close period. That's in many ways the most important part. You got to keep a deal together. You got to be able to know what to look out for before you get under contract too, right? Because you don't want to sign something and find yourself in a position where you could potentially lose some earnest money, some of your down payment along the way. You just don't want to find yourself in that situation. So please, even if you're not going to work with me, work with somebody to represent you, because the sales agents at these builders, they're our partners and they're great people, and I'm fortunate to have cultivated relationships with them, which comes in handy. But at the same time, their job is to represent the builder. It's not to represent you. So please get some representation. If you want to have a conversation about that where there's no obligation to do anything and you really just want to kind of get some information, reach out to me down below. I'm also going to post my information at the end of the video. You can check it out there as well. But we have just been checking out here the primary bed and bath, and in just a moment here we are going to see that storage space that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Really important to have. I had some clients buy a home earlier this year, and storage space was a really important thing for them because they had a lot of stuff, but sometimes there's just not an appropriate spot to put it. Well, fortunately, they have a ladder set up in the walk-in closet here, and I just decided to take the risk and walk up with my camera and everything, which maybe wasn't a good idea, and I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I'm pretty tall, so I didn't feel like it was going to be that big of a risk. But I wanted to get you guys a shot of this this area up here, which you can see you have the guts of the HVAC going throughout the house, but you can also put some storage space up here. Now, this is not going to be the easiest spot to store stuff because it's on the second level in the attic, right? So you got to get up that ladder in order to get stuff up there, but you do have some space. As you can see, a lot of it, the easy access stuff is right over there in order to put, those Christmas decorations or family heirlooms that don't really have, a good spot. Just something to kind of keep in mind. That's where that stuff is going to go. if you're looking for more storage space than this, then this might very well not be the right floor plan for you, okay? And there's others out there that could very easily make more sense, but that's what you got with this one. This is, once again, the Coleman floor plan by Meritage right here at Mansker Farms.
If you'd like more information on this floor plan or what's going on here at Mansker Farms, you can contact me right here. My name is Darren A. Wilson. I'm a realtor here in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. I love helping people out with the new construction process, so please feel free and reach out. Also, if you are considering that process, you can download my free resource called 5 Costly Mistakes All Buyers Should Avoid related to new construction. And last but not least, you can click on my head over there in the corner if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to watch another video, you can watch this one right here of a tour that I did last week at Oak Creek Estates in Hendersonville of Shell Brothers Jameson Model Home. Have a good one. Bye now.